When I was about 10 years old, a friend showed me a video game called Bloons Tower Defense 5. The goal of the game was simple. Balloons were coming down a path and you had to stop them. You used little monkeys. They were cartoon monkeys that you could buy and place along the path where the balloons were coming, and each one had a job. Some threw darts, some dropped bombs, some shot ice. But there was one that didn't fight balloons at all. It was called a banana farm. And the idea behind it was this. Instead of spending your in-game money on more attacking monkeys right now to fight the balloons, you can invest in a banana farm. And the banana farm would produce bananas. Bananas were money. And that money could buy you more monkeys or more banana farms. I remember sitting there as a 10-year-old thinking, hold on. If I just build enough of these, I never have to worry about running out of money ever again. The farms just keep making me money. I didn't know it then, but that silly little video game showed me something about how investing actually works in the simplest, most visual way possible that most people never really understand. And a couple years later, when I started learning about the stock market for real, it clicked almost immediately because I had already seen it. I already knew what it looked like. Money making money. Returns producing returns. A farm that keeps producing long after you build it. Now, here's what that means for you. The single most powerful tool that you have as an investor is not how much money you make. It's not how smart you are, and it's not which stocks you pick. It's time. And here's the thing that most people don't realize until it's too late. Every single day you wait to get started, you are giving away your time. See, $1 invested today is worth more than $1 invested tomorrow. Not because of some complicated Wall Street formula, but because of something called compounding. The same thing that the banana farms were teaching me at age 9 and 10. It works like this. Your money makes returns, more money, and those returns make returns of their own. And on it goes, getting bigger and bigger the longer it runs. But here's what nobody tells you, and this is the part where most people get it wrong, and this is what's actually holding you back. You don't need a lot of money to start. You don't need a finance degree. You don't need to already know what you're doing. You just need to start. Because starting is what gives time something to work with. Does that make sense so far? Because this next part is why I built what I'm about to show you. My name is Ryan, and about 3 or 4 years ago, I was working part-time at Tractor Supply. Actually, I barely had any money to my name. I was driving back and forth to college a few times a week, and I figured out how to start investing with almost nothing. And what happened next changed the direction of my life in some ways that I'm still discovering. And I want to show you how you can do the exact same thing. Not in 6 months, not with a finance course that takes a year to finish, in 3 days. I put together a free 3-day challenge called the First Investment Challenge, specifically for people who have never made their first investment. People who want to start but don't know where to begin. People who feel like maybe the market is for someone else, someone older, someone with more money, someone who already knows what they're doing. But the truth is, it's not. The stock market is here and it's available for you. And here's what's going to happen by the time that those 3 days are over. By the end of day 1, you're going to understand exactly what the stock market is, why it's not as complicated or as scary as it looks, and you're going to have your own investment account open and ready to go. By the end of day 2, you're going to know exactly how to evaluate a stock, exactly how to find one that fits your goals, and most importantly, you're going to know exactly which button to push. And then you're going to push it. For real. Your first investment done by the end of day 2. By the end of day 3, you're not going to be just someone who has one investment. You're going to have a real plan, a path forward that's built around your goals, your life, and your actual real life financial situation. So that your first investment isn't a one-time thing. It's the beginning of something that's going to grow and fuel your life. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. And if you've been waiting until you have more money, more time, more knowledge, until the timing feels right, I want you to hear this. Waiting is the most expensive thing that you can do. Every day you wait is a day of compounding that you can't get back. And the good news, and the reason that I'm so excited to show you this, is that starting out is so much simpler than you think. It doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't take a finance degree. It just takes a decision. But before I walk you through exactly what this looks like and what this challenge is going to do for you, you should probably know a little bit about my story and why I created the First Stock Challenge for you. My name is Ryan Prescott. and I'm the founder of Stock Market Starters. And for the last decade, I've been obsessed with one thing: figuring out how money actually works. And as I was learning how to do it for myself, I stumbled into something else, almost by accident, which is how regular people who didn't grow up with a finance degree or a trust fund, can use the stock market to build something real. I spent years studying this stuff, reading everything I get my hands on. I read The Richest Man in Babylon, Think You Are Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Reminiscences of Stock Operator, and so many more. I've read textbooks, taken tens of thousands of dollars in online finance courses in investing and trading and cryptocurrency and real estate. I even got a finance degree, and I studied this stuff for 4 years in college because I wanted to understand this at a level that most people never go to and never have any reason to go to. And along the way, starting with just $50 every paycheck at a part-time job, I built an investment account for myself that right now pays me more every single month than I was able to even put in when I first started. It's not a fortune, it's not some crazy number yet, but it is real cash flow. It's money that shows up whether I'm working for it or not. It's money that let me take a job I wanted to without worrying about the paycheck. It let me be my own bank when I needed to buy a new car, and it let me buy something I actually wanted to instead of just finding the cheapest thing I can. It also let me buy a motorcycle so I could just ride around with my dad and my brother and just have fun and live. Because that's what this is really about. Not charts, not numbers. It's about life. And I know, when you think about investing, it feels like it's gotta be charts and numbers and math and all this complicated stuff. But that's not really what you care about. At the end of the day, that's not what matters, right? What you actually want is to be free, to step into the life that you want, to not be reliant on your income or your job or a boss to make sure that you're provided for. And you don't want to feel stuck living a life that you don't feel called to live. You want to become the person that God designed you to be, without money being the thing that gets in the way of all of it. And that's something worth aiming for, right? But here's something I need to tell you, because it matters for why I built this challenge the way that I did. I actually did this backwards. When I first got into the market, I went straight for the advanced stuff. Trading, options, covered calls, technical analysis, debit spreads, calendar spreads, like all the things that look exciting and feel powerful, and if I'm being honest, look really, really cool when you're just a kid trying to figure out how money works and how you're gonna make it. And I learned them, and I started getting good at them. But here's what I wish someone had told me when I started over a decade ago. The most powerful thing you can do in the stock market, especially when you're young, and especially when you're starting off with just a little bit, is the simplest thing. Just find and buy a good company. Let time work for you and be consistent. I spent years on the advanced stuff before I really leaned into the basics of actual investing. And those are years of compounding and growth that I can never get back. So that's why I built this challenge the way that I did. Not from theory, from the experience of actually doing it wrong first, and then coming back and figuring out what actually works. I'm not here to teach you everything that I know. I'm here to give you the starting point that I wish I would have had. The thing that would have saved me years. The path that starts simple, starts small, and given time, builds into something that changes your life and can change your life in the way that it has changed mine. And here's what I know about you, the person who's watching this video right now. You don't want money to control your life. That's not what this is about. But here's the truth. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth, when every single decision that you make has to revolve around money because you've got no backup, no cushion, no margin, then money becomes a thing that runs your life, whether you want it to or not. It gets in your head, it follows you around, it makes you feel smaller than you're supposed to feel. And that's not who you want to be. You want freedom, not necessarily right now. I'm not going to promise you overnight results, because that's not actually how this works. But you want a foundation, a reasonable plan, and a starting point that actually makes sense for where you are right now, today. Something that you can build on day by day until money stops being the thing that controls you and starts to be the thing that actually works for you. You want to be the one who figured it out while everyone else was still waiting. That's worth building towards, and that's exactly what we're going to do, because that's who I built this for. That's who I was, and in a lot of ways, it's who I feel like I still am. And here's the thing. The reason you haven't started yet is not because you're not smart enough. It's not because you don't have enough money. It's not because the timing isn't right. It's because nobody ever showed you how. And the world that you grew up in and the world I grew up in, it wasn't exactly built to help you figure it out. It was actually built for something else. And that might just be the thing that has stopped you in the past. Here's the thing that I had to figure out the hard way. The reason you haven't started yet, it's not because you're lazy. And it's not because you don't care. It's definitely not because it's too complicated or you're not smart enough to figure it out. It's because the world you grew up in was never built to help you start. It was built to lock the door in your face so that you would stay a slave to the system and so you would stay under their control. Think about it. 13 years of school and not one class on how to own an asset that makes money for you while you sleep. They taught you how to write a resume, how to get a job, how to be a good employee. They never taught you how to own something that will actually create value in your life. Then, even if you're one of the outliers that goes looking for freedom, you get online and what do you see? People flipping stocks in real time, charts moving every second, day trading, which is a real thing, actually a cool and exciting thing, but it's advanced. It takes serious time to learn. And most people look at that and they think, that's not for me. Boom, door closed in your face. So you look at other options. Real estate. Okay, but you need to have a down payment that you don't have. Boom, there's another door locked in your face. Gold or precious metals. Like maybe, but how does that actually work in real life? And how do I even get it? How does it hold value? Like what's even actually happening here? Boom, there's another door locked in your face. Okay, so maybe you think about cryptocurrency. Everybody's talking about it and nobody seems to agree on what it even actually is. And even when somebody does tell you what it is, it's confusing and there's so many scams that it's hard to know what to do. Boom, another door locked. And so what do? You look around, you see all of these doors locked and blocking paths and you just don't know where to begin. So you do what most people end up doing. You wait. You tell yourself you'll figure it out when you have more money, more time, more knowledge, when the timing feels right. And nobody ever tells you the waiting in itself is the most expensive decision that you're making. Because time, as I told you before, is your single most powerful asset as an investor. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. That's the trap. And I don't want that for you. So, here's what I built instead. I call it the First Stock Challenge. 3 steps, 3 days that take you from where you are right now to someone who owns a real piece of the market and has an actual plan to keep building it. You already know where this started. A video game, a banana farm, and a monkey wizard that taught me more about how investing actually works than what I ever could have expected. The whole idea is actually really simple. Instead of spending everything you have right now, you invest some of it, and the farm produces bananas on repeat, over and over. That's it. That's the engine. Frameworks that I teach you in the First Stock Challenge and what you actually implement during the 3 days work in the exact same way. Step 1 is the shift. And this is the part that most investing courses and most investing teachers online completely skip over. And it's the reason why most people who try to start actually end up quitting before their investments ever become real. See, before you buy a single share, before you open an account, before you do anything, you have to become a person who invests. Not someone who wants to invest someday. Not someone who bought a share once because it seemed cool. Someone who can look in the mirror and say, I am an investor. That's who I am. It's part of my identity. There's a principle I learned from a mentor of mine named Myron Gold. It's actually rooted in scripture and it's really cool. It's called be, do, have. The idea is simple. If you want the result, the financial freedom, the passive income, the foundation that we're talking about, you can't just start doing things and hope the result shows up. You have to first become the person who is capable of getting that result. It's first about your identity and being the person that you need to be. Then you do the things. Then you have what you're after, the result. Be, do, have. And day 1 of the First Stock Challenge is built entirely around be. How do you become an investor, even if you've never invested a single dollar in your life? That's the question that we answer on day 1. And here's the thing. I'm not just going to hype you up and send you home with a good feeling and nothing else. Along with that identity shift, you're going to get the actual knowledge to back it up. what the stock market is, how it works, how to read a basic chart. Because belief without knowledge is just excitement, and excitement fades. I want you to become an investor because that is something that lasts. So, once you've made that shift, once you've become the investor that you know you can be, and I know you know because you're watching this video and thinking about this right now, then next we move into the do, the tactics, the frameworks, the actual tools that you need to make the move. Look, you're not here because you want to watch another video about investing and forget about it by tomorrow. You're here because something in you knows it's time to stop waiting, time to stop watching other people build the life that you want and that you know you can have. It's time to actually become the person that you were designed and created to be. And that starts with one decision. Not a big, scary financial decision, not a massive commitment, just the decision to say, I am someone who invests. That is who I am now. And that's where everything starts to change. The doors start to become unlocked. So that's step one and day one. Step two is to actually start. This is where the shift becomes something you can actually see. One good dividend paying company. You find it, you buy it, you own it. You are an investor. Now here's what I love about dividends. And I could honestly talk about this forever, but I don't have time for that right now, so I'll keep this part short. But a dividend is when a company pays you just for being an owner. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to watch the screen all day. You don't have to make a trade. You hold the stock and they send you money. It's real passive income, and it is so much closer than most people think. What's cool is that by the end of day two, you're not just going to be someone who understands the stock market. You're going to be someone who owns a piece of it and who's already earning returns and passive income from that ownership. At that point, it's not a concept anymore. That's real. That's passive income. That's where your money starts to work for you instead of you always working for your money. That's where the game changes. Step three is the plan. One investment is a start. A plan is what turns one share, one investment, your first investment, into something that actually can change your life. Day three is where you build that plan, specific to you, to your goals, your situation. How much can you invest and how often? Right? This is what it's about, and it becomes a plan that propels you forward from here. Something that adds fuel to the fire of who you are now becoming as an investor. And this is important because here's what the banana farm taught me. One farm is cool, but the person who keeps reinvesting, who keeps planting, who doesn't eat the fruit before it has time to grow, that person wakes up one day and realizes that their money is working harder for them than they are. Think about that for a second. That is a massive, huge shift. The doors are blown wide open and your money, your resources are now working for you. That's what we're building toward, for you, so that you can actually be going as an investor with a real plan. Now I know what's probably running through your mind right now. This sounds good, Ryan, but does this actually work? Does it work for regular people, starting small, with no background in any of this? And the thing is, if you're thinking that, it's okay. You're not alone. I've had thoughts like that so many times, and so has everyone else who started something that actually matters. There's always doubt. There's always fear. There's always resistance that you don't know if you could do it. But what's cool is that I can show you exactly what this looks like. That voice of doubt, the voice of hesitation, doesn't have to hold you back. The doors don't have to stay locked. So look, I know what you might be thinking right now. Okay, Ryan, that's a cool story, but it's your story. You figured this stuff out. Good for you. But I'm not you. I don't have your background. I don't have your knowledge. Maybe this works for some people, but does it actually work for someone like me? And if you're thinking something like that, I want to answer that question. And I'm actually going to answer it by telling you a couple of stories about people that you've probably never met. A while back, I was working at a bank, and there's a guy there who trained me. He was there before me, he showed me the ropes, and I came in basically to replace him because he was heading off to college. We overlapped for a couple of months at the bank, and he was a cool guy and even became something of a friend. While we were working though, he mentioned that he had a 401k from the previous job that he had and from the bank, and he didn't really know what to do with it. He didn't really know what it was, didn't know what it did, he didn't know how to think about it. And we had some slow moments at the bank. If you've never been in a bank, you might not really know how banks are. But a lot of the time, as an employee at least, you're kind of just waiting for the next person to come in, and then you can help them. But in the meantime, we kind of started talking about it. We talked about the stock market, and I walked him through the basics. What the stock market actually is, like how to read a chart, what a trend looks like. Nothing crazy, just simple foundations. And then he left. He moved away for college, and honestly, I didn't think much of it. I figured it was just a good conversation, and that was kind of it. Imagine my surprise when a few weeks later, after he moved away, I got a text from him. He told me he had actually invested in a quantum computing company. It wasn't something I recommended, not something I actually even knew about. I literally didn't know what the company was and had to go look it up to see what he'd invested in. But it was super cool because he went out, he found something that he was genuinely excited about and just did it on his own with the knowledge from a couple of conversations during slow shifts at a bank. Have you ever shared something with someone just casually, just in passing, then found out later that it actually changed something for them? That's what happened with this friend from the bank. The knowledge transferred. And the moment that it did, he didn't need me anymore. He just needed to know how to think about it. He just needed me to help him open and unlock the door. Because here's the thing. Nobody taught him any of this in school. Nobody sat him down and said, hey, you've got a 401k, maybe you should know how the stock market works. Here's how to actually think about owning a piece of a company. Those conversations just never happened. Not at school, not at home, not anywhere. But it took just a couple hours at a bank account. Just a friendly conversation. The truth is that the stock market doesn't have to be that complicated. It was just never explained simply. And this is something that I've believed for a long time. I don't even know who came up with it or where this is from, but there's a super cool quote. And the quote is this: simplicity is the key to success. Have you ever wondered why nobody just sat down and showed you this stuff in a way that's actually simple? You're probably starting to see it now, aren't you? You're starting to see how this is simple, but because they wanted the door to stay locked, it's never been shown to you. I told you that it was simple, but it's really true. And it wasn't just my friend from the bank who this worked for. Actually, my youngest sister went through a course that I put together a couple years ago on trading and investing. I didn't market the course very heavily, I didn't push it super hard. It wasn't perfect, but the information was solid. And my little sister went through the whole thing in 3 or 4 days. By the time she finished, it honestly might have even been before she finished the course, she had bought her first shares of stock. You know when you learn something and you think, okay, I get it intellectually, but there's still a gap between understanding it and actually doing it? Most people live forever in that gap. They get the information, if they even get that far, and then that's it, they stop there. My little sister didn't stop though. She pushed through and she actually made the move. And what's cool is that she's still investing today. Her account is growing. And it's doing the things that you, watching this video right now, are probably hoping that your account will do someday. And here's the thing. She's not a finance person. She didn't have a background in any of this. The truth is, she hadn't even started high school yet. She just had a clear path, a simple system, and the willingness to take the step. And I want you to notice something. The people who would have told her it was too complicated, too risky, too hard for someone her age, they were wrong. They're always wrong. Because the thing that stops most people from starting isn't the market. It's the story that someone told them. It might even be the story that you've told yourself. The thing is though, those stories are not true, and they should not be the thing that determine how your life goes. They shouldn't decide how fully you can step into your calling because money's an issue. They shouldn't decide how much financial freedom you decide to have, or the steps that you take to make your life better. In scripture, in Luke 16:10, it's said like this: he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And that's not just a cute Sunday school principle. That's an investing principle, a principle on which the world operates. And my youngest sister is proof of that. She was faithful with a little. My friend at the bank was faithful with a little. And that faithfulness is what can compound into something real. The amount you start with doesn't determine your financial future. Your faithfulness does. And look, I want to tell you something from my own journey too, because I think this part matters. See, when I started investing, really investing, not just learning about it, I remember how it felt when my account first hit $500 of my own money that I put in. which I know it doesn't sound like a lot, and really it's not a lot. But I remember staring at that number and thinking, like, whoa, this is starting to become real. This is what happens when you change who you are and you start where you are, where you can. Have you ever worked towards something small and had it feel bigger than it actually was? Not because of the number, not because of how impressive it was, but because of what it meant in your life. That's what $500 felt like to me. And then $1,000. And somewhere around $1,000 in my account, I realized, like, hey, hold on. If something goes wrong, I don't have to panic. I don't have to, put a car repair bill or a surprise medical bill on a credit card and pay 24% interest in an emergency. I have a cushion, a real one, that I built for myself. That's what most people don't tell you about investing when you're young. It's not just about the big number far off in the future someday when you retire in 4 years. It's not just about waiting for years and years and years. And it's not about that. Like, that's not what matters. It starts off being a safety net that you start building from day one. It starts giving you margin. It starts giving you options. It starts giving you the ability to breathe in your life. And credit card companies will tell you you don't need that. That's what they're there for. But credit cards at 24% interest are not a safety net. They're a trap with a really good marketing team. Now, to be totally fair, I use credit cards, but I don't use them as a safety net. I use them because they pay me to buy the things that I'm going to buy anyways. But what's cool is that my safety net, from a financial perspective, is built up in my investments. And if I want to pull out of those investments, it costs me nothing. It's my investments, my money. I don't get charged. There's no fees, no interest. If I want to use that money, it's there, it's mine, and I can use it. It doesn't belong to them. This safety net, the way that this works, it's like another door being blown open and unlocked, and you can walk through. In his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the fundamental books about business and investing in money, Robert Kiyosaki said, it's not about how much money you make, but about how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. I remember that first investment account hitting $500 or $1,000. It wasn't just a number on a screen. It was the first key I ever had to unlocking the door that I didn't even know existed. All right, are you starting to see how this works? I hope so. Hopefully this is starting to make sense and you can see the path. But there's one more story that I want to tell you. And this one honestly hits the closest to home. This is the one that I think about the most and that honestly that I feel the most grateful for. I remember when I was in college paying for housing, for food, for gas, for school, there was a stretch where I was working for free in a job that didn't pay me anything. Not because I had to, but because I chose to. See, I was given an opportunity, a real one, the kind that doesn't come around that often. But the thing is, it didn't pay, at least not at first. Most people in that situation would have to say no, because rent still comes due, groceries still cost money, and life doesn't pause because you find a good opportunity. I mean, some of you can relate. Have you ever had to say no to something you really wanted? Not because you didn't want it, but because you just couldn't afford to. Financially, you couldn't pay to say yes. That is one of the quietest and the most painful ways that money controls your life. Not with drama, just with a quiet no, when everything in you wants to say yes. But here's the cool thing, and this is why this hits so close to home for me. When this opportunity came up, I didn't have to say no. See, because I had been investing for years, consistently, even when the amounts felt small, even when it felt like it wasn't doing anything, I had built something that I could lean on. And I leaned on it. I pulled from that account every month for at least 4 months, but I think more like 6 or 8 months, for housing, for food, for gas, and I worked for free. I got into the opportunity. And I'm still in that opportunity today. I'm still excited about it, still grateful that I said yes. The financial system, the one that taught you to spend everything you make, to live for right now, to save whatever is left over, which by the way is usually nothing, that system does not want you to have options. Options are dangerous. Options mean that you don't have to take the first job that comes along. You don't have to stay somewhere that's making you miserable. You don't have to say no to the right opportunity because the timing isn't perfect. And options, creating that margin, creating that freedom is what investing actually buys for you. Not just money, not just security, but options, freedom and choices. I think about it like this. Money in the bank is nice, but money invested, money that's working while you sleep, money that's growing while you live your life, that's the foundation. It's freedom waiting to happen. There's this idea out of one of my favorite books about money and investing that I've ever read. Should I have it right here? It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. And the idea is simple, and the idea is this. It's in the book. It's basically said like this. Let a part of all that you earn be yours to keep, not to spend, to keep, to grow, and to work for you. You think about it like this. You don't have to have a lot to start. You just need to start, because the cost of waiting is not zero. It is everything that you could have become by building it and by starting earlier. My friend from the bank figured it out during slow shifts at a counter. My youngest sister figured it out in 4 days, maybe 3 days, with a course and a willingness to push the button. I figured it out with $50 every 2 weeks from the paycheck that I got working part-time at Tractor Supply, not knowing if it would ever amount to anything. None of us were ready. None of us had it all figured out, and none of us waited until the timing was perfect. We just started. And here's what I want you to sit with for a second. If they could do it, if a guy heading off to college, a young woman in the middle of school trying to go through a course on her own, and a broke college kid investing $50 at a time, if all of them could figure it out and could do it, what's actually stopping you? That's not a trick question. This matters. Because I think somewhere inside of you, watching this right now, something is shifting. You're starting to see it. The path, the possibility, the version of you that doesn't have to say no to the right opportunity because you didn't have the money. The version of you, the one who's an investor, the one who's a builder, the one who steps into the life and the calling that God has for you without money being the thing that holds you back. That person doesn't have to be some far off dream. That person is inside of you. That's who you can become. You just haven't made the move yet. And that move, it starts with just 3 days and a powerful shift that can change everything. Let me show you exactly how, during my first investment challenge, this can work for you. Here's what I need you to understand about this challenge. This is not a course sitting on the internet waiting for you whenever you feel like getting around to it. This is a live 3-day immersive event. 3 days. And when it's over, it's over. You can't come back to it later. You can't just turn it back on the next time that you're feeling motivated. The only way to get in is to register right now. Show up and do the work while the doors are open. That's it. That's the path. And I want you to think about something for a second. You know that feeling when you're sitting there scrolling through your phone, watching other people talk about their investments, about the life they're building, about their passive income, and something in you goes quiet. Not angry, just quiet. Like you know you should be doing something. You don't know what, you don't know where to start, and so you just keep scrolling. That's the trap, right there, in that moment of quiet indecision, the trap of waiting. And here's the thing about waiting. It doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't feel like a decision. It just feels like, not yet. I'll figure it out later. When I have more money. When I know more. When the timing is right. But the truth is that later has a cost. Every single day that you wait is a day of compounding that you can never get back. And nobody can ever hand you the time that you lost. But here's what's on the other side. And here's what this looks like if you don't wait. You click the button, you register, you show up on day one, and for the first time in maybe a long time, you stop being someone who's thinking about investing and start being someone who's actually learning how to do it. You open your account, you understand what you're looking at, you start to see it, and you realize, oh, this isn't as complicated as I thought. Then, in day two, you find a stock, a real company, something you actually believe in. You run the analysis, with help from AI, by the way. You push the button, and just like that, you own it. You are a part owner of a real business. And that business is going to start paying you just for being an owner. Then on day 3, you figure out how to build a plan. Not a generic plan, your plan, built around your goals, your life, and the vision for where you want to go. And you walk away from 3 days as someone completely different from the person that walked in. You walk away at the end of day 3 as an investor, the person who's building the life that you want according to the vision that you have for your life, for your money, and for your financial future. That's not a fantasy. It's not a pipe dream. That is what this challenge is built and designed to do. Now, I'm not going to make you a promise I can't keep. I'm not going to tell you that if you show up, you're going to be guaranteed to get rich, or that everything is going to be perfect from the very start. What I will tell you is this. The strategies, the framework, the tactics that I'm going to show you, people have been using them for a long time. My friend from the bank used them. My youngest sister used them. I used them, starting with $50 and a part-time paycheck at Tractor Supply. The thing is, this stuff works. It's not that complicated. It's not out of reach. You just have to have someone to show you how, and that's exactly what I am here to do. You don't have to figure this out alone. You don't have to start wrong like I did. You don't have to spend years trying to reverse engineer something that I want to show you for free with just 3 days. All you have to do is show up. So, click the button on this page right now. Register for the 3-day free challenge. It costs you nothing to get in, just your time and the willingness to actually show up and do the work. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. I'll think about it. And I want you to hear me on this, because this is something that you need to understand. That thought, right there, I'll think about it. That is the waiting trap. That's exactly what I've been talking about this whole time. Not a dramatic decision to quit. Just a quiet, not yet. And not now turns into next week. And next week turns into next month. And suddenly another year has gone by and you're in the exact same spot, wondering why nothing has changed. But the thing is that in that moment, something has changed. You've lost an entire year. A year, 365 days of your most valuable asset, which is time. Time that you could have used to get the knowledge, the tools, the skill set, and to actually start building the results that compounding turn into in terms of a financial base, maybe financial security, and the financial freedom that we're talking about. Like, the people who build something real, the ones who actually get there, they're not smarter than you. They're not luckier than you. They just decided to stop waiting. They clicked the button when the door was open. The door is open right now. And I'm waiting here because I want to hand you the key. Click the button below the video. Register for the challenge. It's free, it's 3 days, and it just might be one of the most impactful and important things that you do this year. I built this challenge because I honestly wish someone had handed it to me when I was sitting in that Tractor Supply break room with $50 and almost no idea what to do with it. I built it because I watched my friend figure it out on his own after a couple of conversations. I watched my sister go through a course in 3 or 4 days and come out the other side as someone who actually invests. I built it because I believe that the financial foundation, the freedom, the security that you're looking for, the foundation that lets you feel more free to be the person that God designed you to be, the provider, the builder, the person who doesn't have to let money make your decisions, I believe that's available to you right now, starting wherever you are with whatever you have. But it starts with a decision. Your financial future is in your hands. So go ahead, click the button, register for the challenge, and I'll see you on day 1. I'm Ryan Prescott. This is Stock Market Starters. And if you get nothing else from this video, I want you to understand this. Starting is the key. And if you don't make the choice, if you don't begin, then nothing changes. But that doesn't have to be your story. Your story can be one that starts here, now, where you are, because that's how you become the person that you want to be. A single, simple decision to start.